Codes and efforting and look for your ideas. Call us, give us what you think we should do that we're not doing. 289-6397, 289-NEWS, or email woofboomradio. It's WMUN at woofboom.com. The email is WMUN at woofboom.com. All right. That's all you get for the pre-feed because I got to focus on radio now. Headphones are very important for radio people. You'll hear the radio air feed in a moment. There's a newscast on the air in my headphone right now. That news changes hour by hour, minute by minute. So, we got to be careful what we put out there. Here we go.
Now, new, live, and local, and every weekday from 8 to 9 a.m. This is the show talking about what you want to know, what you need to know, and part of Woof Boom Radio's mission to use our voice to build our community. The all-new Delaware County Today, presented by Muncie Community Schools. Now on WMUN, the Talk of Muncie. Here's your host, Director of News Operations and lead morning anchor, Steve Lindell.
For the first time ever, I ran from end to end of Studio B. I'll explain why in a moment. Royalty, 8:30 in studio. Local news summary in about 2 minutes. BSU baseball, big week on the radio. And Yorktown, it was not a prank, though the social media said it was. I'm a little out of breath here. Should I start with that story? Sure, I will. Whew. So here's what I did. I ran from end to end while Tom Campbell, the voice of WMUN, was doing the opening billboard. There's some radio words for you behind the scenes. And the reason I had to run from end to end was because I wasn't ready for the guest arrival at the main door in the building here. So I had to get that building door ready. That's the extent of it. Now, the other extent of it is the fact that I shouldn't be out of breath. I mean, it's not that big of a room. It's big, but let me tell you the dandelion story later in the hour. I better write that down. People hate Roger. Roger hates it, and rightfully so, when I don't pay off on my story teases. Dandelion story. Okay, so let's get into the weather first. Paul Poteet has an exceedingly rare chunk of time off. He has, and we have aligned for a fill-in meteorologist, and we are very proud to bring in right now for you, Todd Klaussen.
Skies will be partly to mostly sunny throughout the day today with a high temperature of 54 degrees. But overnight tonight, it gets very cold, down to 27. A freeze watch in place across parts of the area. It's a frosty start to our Tuesday with plenty of sunshine. We only get up to 46 degrees in the afternoon, well below the normal high of 60 degrees. I'm in for Paul Poteet. I'm meteorologist Todd Klaussen.
All right, well done, Mr. Klaussen. Thank you for the hourly updates that you will give to us this week. Paul promised that it would be a quiet weather week, and of course, that is impossible to promise. In Indiana, if you don't like the weather, just wait 1 minute. Okay, let's look at our live listeners around the globe. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Hold on a second. I could prove this to you. Hold on a sec. Well, I got lots of screens here. Clicking on this, live radio. Oh, Riyadh clicked off. But I do see a lot of others that I could show you. Showing you on the YouTube channel, Woof Boom Studio B. You can see Portland, Oregon. Sister Sherry left coast. Hi, sis. Minnesota, mama. Look at California. Very, very busy with West Covina, Long Beach, and then Tijuana is listening. We're huge. Atlanta, Georgia was on. Oh, there's Riyadh again. See Riyadh? Hold on a sec. I can zoom in on that. Stand by. The mouse over here. See the mouse moving across the screen, and then I roll, and look at that. Right there, for you. I'm not making this stuff up. Now, don't put it past me. For entertainment value, I suppose I could make stuff up, but not when we're talking to you on Delaware County Today from WMUN. We are the talk radio of Muncie. Good morning to Kevin Swain Train, already in the main building across the way. He is a regular recurring listener to this radio station, as we hope that many of you are as well. Now let's get you caught up to speed with the news part of our program. This is called the Local News Summary. These stories and more airing on all of our stations in East Central Indiana, and now for you on WMUN. Championship game for the men's basketball tournament in Indy is set.
Michigan jumped out to a 10-1 lead and never looked back, and advancing to the finals for the first time since 2018. And their opponent in that game will be Connecticut, advancing to the final for the third time in the last 4 years. The championship is set for 8:50 p.m. Eastern on Monday night. Greg Thompson, Fox News.
Muncie Community Schools CEO Chuck Reynolds told the Ball State Daily News the new state property tax law could cost the district up to $500,000 this year, and the toll could be as much as $3.5 million in 2029. An Indiana man recently charged in New Jersey for forcing a girl to engage in self-harm, but that's not all.
Investigators say Billy Joe Holman met the girl on social media last fall. They claim he used coercive control to manipulate the child. Jake McDaniel, Network Indiana.
The Indiana Financing Authority awarded a $12 million grant to the city of Anderson last week for a water infrastructure project. It's part of $68 million total statewide in 4 grants given. The Chicago Bears are narrowing down when they'll pick their next stadium site.
Bears president and CEO Kevin Warren says the team plans to decide by late spring or early summer. They're weighing a dome stadium in Hammond, Indiana, or a development in Arlington Heights, Illinois, where the team owns about 300 acres. Ryan Hedrick, Network Indiana.
The week ahead.
Monday, the annual White House Easter egg roll will take on a more patriotic spirit to commemorate America's 250th anniversary. Tuesday, an empty congressional seat will be decided. It's the runoff election for Georgia's 14th congressional district, left vacant by Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Some happy news quoting the biggest hunt we've ever had, unquote, the words of organizer Brad Robertson about the annual Muncie Knights of Columbus Easter egg hunt. 450 kids and families gathered at the last-minute move to the Muncie Mall event. 4,000 eggs found in less than a minute. The death of Fisher's teen Haley Busby reignited concerns about the dangers of social media to children. Madison County Deputy Prosecutor Andrew Hanna expounded on some of those concerns during an appearance on Anderson Talks.
There is such a threat of child exploitation, not only grooming and attempting to contact what are teenagers, children, but also you have risks of radicalization.
Found over the weekend that second crew member from the downed F-15E fighter jet in Iran. Fox's Chanley Painter.
Sources tell Fox News the CIA helped locate him. President Trump says the airman is now safe and out of the country. He also says the service member is injured but will be fine. He added that the U.S. military just pulled off one of the most daring search and rescue operations in U.S. history.
President also explained that the U.S. has been monitoring his location 24 hours a day and diligently planning for his rescue. A $500 million data center project is coming to an Indianapolis neighborhood.
The site will be in the Martindale-Brightwood neighborhood of Indianapolis on the near north side. The Metropolitan Development Commission approved of the plans on Wednesday, with some neighborhood residents not too happy about it. Los Angeles-based developer MetroBlocks is the one building it. Jarrett Lewis, Network Indiana.
The Indiana Hoosier football program is trying to sharpen its skills this spring in preps for next season.
IU head football coach Kurt Signetti said on Thursday that with so many new people coming in, the work now is very important.
We can't make progress fast enough.
But he says there's a lot to like as well with the returners they have coming back. The spring game is April 23rd at Memorial Stadium in Bloomington. John Herrick, Network Indiana.
Anderson police are investigating an early Easter morning fatal shooting involving individuals inside a vehicle. They say that officers arriving at the scene in the 800 block of East 53rd Street found a man suffering multiple gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The Madison County coroner identified him as 34-year-old Montario Peoples of Anderson. Also in the vehicle, a woman with what was believed to be a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. Other occupants in the vehicle were not injured. Police believe several shots were fired from outside the vehicle. Brett Busby, Wolf Boom Radio News.
Ball State AD Jeff Mitchell on last week's One Ball State Day.
It's a lot of fun for our programs to connect with alumni friends and fans.
He estimated the athletic department took in about $90,000 more than the previous year. At a meeting Friday morning covered exclusively by WMUN News Radio, President Jeffrey Mearns said the total pledge that day was just under $1.5 million, with 400 plus current students and 900 plus faculty and staff, some of the participants. Anderson Speedway has earned a reputation as a destination track throughout the racing world. In fact, owner Rick Dawson told the Anderson Journal Morning Show it's part of an annual NASCAR tradition, too.
The night of the Little 500, they have a bunch of the drivers get together down North Carolina because they're at Charlotte, and they stop what they're doing and they watch the Little 500.
A 2-day crime spree from 3 years ago is returning a 98-year prison sentence.
In Marion County, Terrell Williamson is convicted of multiple charges, including murder. In February of 2023, he went on a crime spree over 2 days through Indianapolis that included carjackings and armed robberies. Jarrett Lewis, Network Indiana.
From the Muncie Did You Know department, the Oasis Bar hosts a Governor Davis Blues Jam every Thursday night. The Muncie Public Library Archive says Davis moved to Muncie from Chicago in 1977 and passed away in 2021. More local every day on our free wolfboomnews.com. And on WMUN from Studio B, this is Delaware County Today. The moving apparatus of people and guests into this room and our other building, too. We have studios in the main building, of course, as well. Is all intended for one specific reason. That is simply we use our voice to build and connect our community. Reach out anytime if you want. Call and leave a voicemail message. People do it all the time. 289-6397, 289-NEWS. We take news tips as well. And we can also email if that's easier. That's simple. The call letters of the radio station, WMUN, at woofboom.com. WMUN at woof like the dog, boom like the firecracker.com. There will be some booms beyond firecrackers very soon. How's that for a tease? We have that story coming up probably tomorrow on this program. Right now, let's get a snapshot of your day today.
It's April 5th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. It's National Deep Dish Pizza Day. That type of pizza was invented by Ike Sewell in Chicago in 1943, the founder of Uno's Pizzeria. Of course, there's always the great debate of which is better, Chicagoans and their deep dish or New York-style slices. Also on this day, the world's largest suspension bridge opened in Japan in 1998. The Akashi Kaikyo Bridge's central span is 6,532 feet long. That's about 1.2 miles. It can withstand wind up to approximately 180 miles per hour and an 8.5 magnitude earthquake. A nightclub in West Berlin, frequented by U.S. soldiers, is bombed in 1986. 3 people were killed, and the attack was later blamed on the Libyan Secret Service. And in 1955, a half-century career ends. Winston Churchill resigning as the UK Prime Minister. He helped create the alliance with the UK, US, and Soviet Union against Nazi Germany. I'm CJ Papa. That's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
On WMUN, the talk of Muncie, 92.5 FM, 1340 AM, and all the rest. The place for Ball State baseball, we'll get to that before the bottom of the hour. Our plans for this week, and they are plural plans. NASA is in the news. You can't get away from it. It's exciting. Fox's Eben Brown reports in the first of our 5-part series.
Fox on Tech, the evolution of spaceflight.
Americans first saw one of their own reach space on May 5th, 1961. Alan Shepard flew a suborbital flight for all of 15 minutes.
We got a beautiful mission going here.
But America wasn't the first to reach space. Shepard's flight was the U.S. catching up to the Soviets, who put Sputnik, a satellite, into space nearly 4 years earlier. Americans learned about it from Fox's movie-tone newsreels in cinemas.
The epical scientific achievement by Soviet Russia in beating the United States of America in the race to launch the first man-made moon has all humanity staring heavenward.
Russia followed Sputnik with Yuri Gagarin flying a full orbit about a month before Shepard's mission in '61. And it meant the U.S. needed to quell fears of being second-rate in space. And so began the great space race of the 20th century to reach the moon before the Soviets. With Fox on Tech, I'm Eben Brown, Fox News.
And I'm Steve Lindell, and I'm a certified space nerd, too. Kim Morris is on our Air Force as well. She loves the NASA stuff, and it is just unbelievable to me that they can do what they do and how they do it. And we certainly hope everybody returns safely after some of those images that they've been sending back already. That's one of the big differences, I think, biggest differences, the technology and or the video ability they have today compared to the last time that we went up yonder and landed on the moon and all that. That was unbelievable to watch, the replays and or everything else. But now the vivid imagery is going to be unbelievable. And it already is, some of those early images coming back. Here's a program note. Later this afternoon, President Trump will have a press conference. I think it's a 1 o'clock scheduled time, which means it won't start until about 2 or 2:30. Isn't that how those things typically work? Anyway, that'll be during Tony Katz Today. That is a noon to 3 program every day on WMUN. He will likely dive into coverage of that and provide some commentary as such. That is not a guarantee, but it is probably a high probability. We'll continue with more in a moment. This is the Daily Delaware County Today from WMUN.
Too many families face a widening gap between what they can afford and what they need to thrive. More than half of families in the U.S. today are one paycheck away from financial crisis. At Good 360, we deliver hope when families need it most, providing essentials like clothing, hygiene items, and household goods. Put help within reach. Learn more at good360.org.
Pros, just because something on the job runs out doesn't mean you have to. Order it on the Lowe's app. My Lowe's Pro Rewards members get free same-day delivery on eligible orders over $25. Get the fasteners, hardware, or tools you need to keep the job moving. Order by 2 p.m. and get eligible in-stock items delivered right to your job site by 8 p.m. Members get more at Lowe's. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Subject to availability. Restrictions and terms at lowes.com/shipping terms. Subject to change.
Looking for a great real estate agent? Someone who can help you sell your home fast and for top dollar? Go to ready.com, REDY.com. Because on Ready, agents will pay you just for the opportunity to sell your home. Yeah, on Ready, agents will pay you for your listing. Thousands of dollars up front just for a chance to sell your home. And it's easy. Just go to ready.com, enter your address, and when you want to sell. In just 48 hours, the best local agents are competing on Ready to be your agent with cash offers up front just to win your business. Hey, your listing is valuable. Don't give it away. Make those agents earn it. Get paid to pick your real estate agent. Go to ready.com or call 888-525-REDY. 888-525-READY.
Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community Schools.
And this is the place for Ball State baseball, too, which is presented by AutomaticPoolCovers.com. Tomorrow, the game will not be at Shebeck Stadium. It's one of those road games that we promised you. It will be from Bloomington, Indiana. Our Kurt Darling, Wolf Boom Sports Director, on the play-by-play from Bloomington. IU will be hosting the Ball State Cardinals. We're looking for a 5:45 pregame for the 6 o'clock first pitch here on WMUN Tuesday. And that's the first of several games planned this week. They will be home this coming weekend. There's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday games, all of which will be live on the WMUN. That is 92.5 FM, 1340 AM. The streaming is all available too, and those home games are free to get in at Shebeck Stadium. Gary Joseph, one of our great employee staff members, has told me in no uncertain terms he's popped in and out of a whole bunch of games and enjoyed the moments that he was able to be at those games. Sometimes it gets a little cold. Sometimes it's nice and warm. I don't know what the weather's like for Friday, Saturday, Sunday just yet. I suppose I could look for that, but that's a little too much show prep for me. Steve Lindell here on WMUN. Health officials want you to pay attention to how your body reacts to difficult situations.
This is House Call for Health. April is National Stress Awareness Month. The American Institute of Stress says you can have several reactions to stress, including shock or disbelief, feeling frustrated, difficulty concentrating or making decisions, and physical pain, including headaches, back pain, or stomach problems. Severe stress can even lead to the use of drugs or alcohol. But the Institute offers advice on how to help manage stress, emphasizing the power to change. One of their tips is to try recognizing when you don't have control and let it go, not to get anxious about situations that you can't change. Also, try to focus on something that makes you feel calm and in control, and develop a vision for healthy living and wellness, and set realistic goals to help realize that vision. You can get more resources at stress.org or from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention at cdc.gov. Or for more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health, I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
WMUN, an affiliate of Fox News Radio, updates right around the top of the hour, every day, because news happens all the time. We're inside Studio B at the Wolf Boom Radio Group campus on the south side of Muncie, Indiana. We're awaiting the arrival of our guest. In fact, if listening in your vehicle, it's okay to come into the room. We'll get you all set up for bottom of hour royalty. Miss Ball State University is going to be in the house to talk about what she's been doing, what she plans to do, and what's next for her. Hold on. That's all. Just moments away. Later this morning and every Monday, we have the talk block of local programs at 9 a.m. right after we get off the air. That will be with Lefay Pegues. The 765businessjournal.com radio show airs from 9 to 9:30. And then at 9:30 today and every Monday, it's the show called All Kinds of People, hosted by Dr. Joe Mashevitz. Thank you for the text this morning, Dr. Joe. The guest this morning, Mark Canada. He is from outside of the city of Muncie, but he is very interesting, and I think you'll be very intrigued by what he has to say and share. His love of history and of traveling. I recall those nuggets when some of the show notes came out, and I think a very intriguing guest. Mark Canada. I think I saw Mark in person again just last week. It was across the room at the Muncie on the Move breakfast event. My eyes don't work as great as they used to, but I think that was him. Anyway, that's at 9:30 this morning. As we've explained so many times, our shows are all live on WMUN Radio first, and then every one of them gets set up to the podcast page. That's our website, WMUNmuncie.com. WMUNmuncie.com. We are moments away for our guest arrival. The first of a whole lot of great local content we have planned so far for this week to come, and there's room to build in even more. We're always looking for show and notes ideas, too. This is Delaware County Today from Studio B on WMUN.
Here in Muncie, we know what it means to show up for one another. We celebrate our wins, big and small. And when times get tough, we lean in, not away.
At WMUN, we're more than just a voice on the radio. We are your neighbor, your friend, your connection to what matters most. Every morning, we wake up with you, sharing the stories of our city, highlighting the heroes you don't always hear about, and cheering on the teams that carry our hopes on their shoulders. This isn't just news and sports. This is home. From the streets of downtown to the heart of Delaware County, we're here because you're here. Thanks for letting WMUN be part of your day. We're proud to be your hometown station.
Start your day with Quaker Protein Instant Oatmeal. The instant oatmeal ready to help you tackle whatever your day brings, like wrangling your toddler into their car seat. That was fun. Coaching your 6th graders soccer team. Go girls! And carrying all the groceries in one trip. Whew. Try Quaker Protein Instant Oatmeal, granola, and bars. Great taste and a good source of protein. Quaker, bring out the good.
America last. It's what President Donald Trump said State Senator Travis Holdman did when Travis Holdman voted to let ChemChina own Hoosier farmland. That put Hoosiers at risk. And it certainly wasn't America first when Travis Holdman voted for higher gas taxes, or when Travis Holdman voted with Democrats to oppose President Trump's policy agenda by voting against him on congressional redistricting, potentially making it easier for liberal Democrats like AOC and Nancy Pelosi to be in charge. America First is about lower taxes and prosperity. Donald Trump has made Hoosier lives better. By voting against Trump's policies, liberal Travis Holdman made Hoosier lives worse. Call Travis Holdman at 317-232-9400. Tell him to stop putting China first. Support President Trump's policies instead. Paid for by Hoosier Leadership for America.
Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community Schools.
I'm rolling all around here. My chair's got wheels on it. It's hard to drive. And I got royalty in the studio here, too. Just saw you the other day. You're everywhere, Katey Cooper.
It seems like it right now, yeah. That's what I love so much about being Miss Ball State. There's always an opportunity to connect with the community.
I've seen you before. We've talked on the radio before. So what's new? What's been happening with you, Miss Ball State University?
Well, last time I was here, I was Miss Duneland, and I was competing with that title at Miss Indiana. I'm now back as Miss Ball State. I'm also an Indy 500 Festival Princess, so lots of cool things going on, lots of crowns and sashes to wear, and lots of opportunities to be connected in the community.
And I just adjusted the camera there because you're taller than other guests that have been in here. We have the cameras in this room here. You've not been in here yet, have you?
I haven't. This is pretty cool.
This is called Studio B, and it's got the cameras all over the place to give a visual depiction to our radio audience because, you know, radio is the original social media, but people want to know what they're, looking at through the speakers. So that's what we do here. Glad that you're in here. Wearing the sash and everything.
Yeah. I didn't do the crown today.
Yeah,
but
no crown today. We got to be careful with moving that around town.
Yep.
So as Miss Ball State University, what were your platforms and what things have you been working on and are continuing as such?
So my community service initiative is the same as last year, but I've refined it and expanded it a little bit to be more impactful. So I still work with my business, Loads of Love. I've started the CLEAN initiative, which stands for Community Laundry Empowerment and Necessities. And I've been able to work with some local nonprofits like the Muncie Folk Collective and other businesses around town where I've been able to help Delaware County residents in need by giving them sponsored and free laundry services.
Tell them a little more about Loads of Love. You just touched on it there, but where did that idea come from, and tell them how it works?
So actually I had the idea for Loads of Love during my freshman year of college at Ball State, and I ended up taking some time off of school, and that's when I started the business. It's a valet laundry service, so I offer pickup and drop-off laundry for Delaware County residents, and through that I began to find a passion for helping people who needed this service but couldn't necessarily afford it. So like students who are going to school in dirty clothes, or parents who have job interviews but they don't have clean clothes to wear for it. So that's when I started the Clean Initiative and started my work with the community to sponsor that service.
That is unique and different and very nice and kind. This is Katey Cooper. She is Miss Ball State University, the latest of the titles that she has held. And I would ask, what's next? What are you shooting for next? What's on the goal list?
Well, next up is Miss Indiana in June. So, of course, that's always the goal with a local title, is to get to the state title. And so I'm honored to be able to go to Miss Indiana for my second time. And, of course, my goal is to serve as Miss Indiana, represent Muncie, and, have another local girl be Miss Indiana. We had Kaylin Mellum a few years ago, and I would love the opportunity to serve as well and get to make it to that Miss America stage.
Why did you opt to do this? Because you're really putting yourself out there when you're doing this. I imagine the preparation and getting in front of people and the interviewing and the on-stage capacity, all the various pieces and parts. It would be easier just to kind of hang off into the background, but you didn't want to do that. Tell everybody why.
It definitely keeps my plate full, but I've chosen to do it because I truly found a passion for pageantry with Miss Delaware County. That was my roots, and I found a passion for serving my community through that. And then I transferred on to the Miss America organization and Miss Ball State because I was just so encouraged by all of the opportunities there were for personal growth. Every time I stepped on the stage, I became a better version of myself. I was better with public speaking. I was better connecting with the community, serving others, and just refining myself. So while it is sometimes a lot to handle, it's also, a duty that I wear proudly.
All right, and you wear it well. This is Miss Ball State University for now, who, is going to have other crowns and sashes and so on. I can predict that right now. How about that? I'm Steve Lindell. This is WMUN Delaware County Today in Studio B. You taught yourself how to play the piano?
I did, yeah, in 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you.
How did you do that?
Well, I actually, after Miss Indiana last year, 2 days after it ended, I got a wild idea. I said, I'm coming back here next year as Miss Ball State. I set that goal, and I also said, I'm coming back here with a new talent. I did public speaking as my talent, which I think was awesome and really helped me grow as a speaker, and it's a great talent for some, but for me, I felt like I wasn't showcasing my true potential to the judges, and I just knew that if I worked really hard, I could learn something really awesome, and so I decided I was going to learn Piano Man, which is 3 talents in one. So I was singing, I taught myself harmonica and piano, and I started teaching myself piano and realized I needed professional help. Okay. So I did end up getting lessons for piano, but I did teach myself harmonica and singing.
Yeah, harmonica too, because if you're going to do that Billy Joel song, you've got to do both.
Yeah, for a song called Piano Man, it really relies a lot on the harmonica.
It really does. Nancy and I were just watching a YouTube video, I don't know, last week or something like that. Piano Man, one of his first performances, Billy Joel, when it was just a big song, it was years ago and whatever, and he's sitting at the piano and he's playing, and he's got that thing around his neck. So you have the thing around your neck and you're playing?
Absolutely.
Oh,
I've got the whole get up. It looks like I have like a headgear or something on.
That's unbelievable. Wow. Does anybody else in these events, has anybody ever played a harmonica? How about that?
I've never seen anyone play a harmonica. I'm sure somebody has, because there's some really cool talents. I've seen some science experiments on stage. I've seen stand-up comedy as a talent. So people get really creative with it, which I love to see, but I've never seen harmonica.
We are also talking about to Katey Cooper here on WMUN's Delaware County Today, Indy 500 Festival Princess. That experience, talk about that.
So I have the incredible opportunity of being an Indy 500 Festival Princess. So the month of May will be very busy for me this year, and then coming right up will be Miss Indiana in June. So I definitely got a busy summer. But with the Indy 500 Festival, this is a scholarship program where they've chosen 33 women across the state of Indiana to represent as princesses for the 500 Festival. They had over 700 applicants. So it was definitely an honor to be selected and chosen as one. And I'm so excited to, instill that Hoosier pride across the state for the greatest spectacle in racing.
Oh, look at you. She's saying all the phrases right, too. Greatest spectacle in racing. You'll hear the race on WMUN. Were you a race fan? I mean, I would say when you were growing up. You're not grown up yet, but did you follow the race a little bit or a lot or not so much?
I've actually never been to the Indy 500, so what a cool way to get initiated. I remember my grandpa always watching it, and I loved watching it with him, but I wouldn't call myself necessarily a race fan. I think I have a lot to learn, so I'm excited.
You will be blown away when you get inside of the oval. And, you'll be there, you said month of May, because I assume there's a lot of duties that lead up to race day and everything. But the pageantry of race day and everything is something you really can't explain. I have told people, I've lived here for 33 years now, working on the radio now for Wolf Boom Radio and WMUN and the rest of our radio group. I always thought it should be a requirement that if you are a resident of Indiana, you must attend the Indianapolis 500 at least once. I predict that once you are in the middle of all of that falderall, you're probably going to become a fan, even though, like me, I don't know how the cars work, and I'm never going to learn that, but it's really something. What haven't I asked you this morning that typically people ask you, Miss Ball State University, when they do these sorts of questions and answer situations?
Well, lots of times people ask me if they can wear my crown and sash, which of course I would let you wear if I had my crown with me today. But I think maybe preparation for Miss Indiana or how I'm serving the community, something that I'm super important and focus a lot on.
Let's talk about the Miss Indiana competition. How will you prepare differently, if in any way, for that one as opposed to others that you have already done?
Sure. So for Miss Indiana, the preparation looks a little bit different than a local like Miss Ball State, because for Miss Ball State, it's a lot of this is my plan as Miss Ball State, and these are small steps that I'm taking for it. And then hopefully by the time you've gotten to Indiana, the judges hope to see here's how I've served with this title and how I plan to expand that initiative as Miss Indiana. So I've done a lot of work in the community with my community service initiative and trying to engage and connect with people and serve however I can so that I can get to the Miss Indiana stage and show them this is the track record and here's what I've done so far and here's what I'm going to continue to do as Miss Indiana.
Do you have help with that preparation, or do you have to do that as a contestant all by yourself? How does that work?
Well, I luckily have a great support system. So each local contestant has a director assigned to them. So I have an incredible director who's been with the Miss Ball State program pretty much for 20 years now. So she really knows what's going on and she's helped me quite a bit. But she gives me a lot of freedom as well to, make my own appearances and schedule things, as I would like to. So it's kind of a good mix there of doing it on my own and leaning on her for support as well.
And Katey Cooper has been on me to get this interview booked forever. I have been remiss in responding and replying, and I'm so glad that we have you in again this morning. Last words to you about sponsorships and support. I assume there is a way to help you do what you're doing out there in the community if they want to be supportive in that way.
Absolutely. Well, first, thank you so much for having me on. It's always an honor to be here. But yeah, I'm fundraising right now for Miss Indiana, and I'm looking for community supporters, businesses, family, and friends who want to help support me, whether through donations or a place in the Miss Indiana ad program book. So if you're interested, please reach out to me on the Miss Ball State social medias. I would love to have your help. It doesn't just support me on my journey to Miss Indiana. It also further supports my community service initiative and helps me provide that free laundry to people in need.
And Loads of Love is the name you should look for on the interwebs about that laundry business that does more than just clothes. And I've talked to you about that before. It's a great idea. Always good to see you. Continued best of luck to you, and keep growing, okay?
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Katey Cooper, our guest, as we continue through the hour. This is WMUN.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio. I'm Gary Dick. It is estimated there are currently more than 70 data centers in operation across Indiana, with dozens more being proposed. In an interview with our partners at Hoosier Ag Today, Governor Mike Braun said he wants the major corporations putting up the data centers to pay for necessary upgrades to the nearby power grid.
Data centers are only going to work if the hyperscalers pay for every penny of it. The companies that want them are the richest in the country. It cannot impact current families and businesses.
Indianapolis is hosting more than a dozen executives representing major conventions for this year's men's Final Four. And Visit Indy Executive Vice President Chris Gall says the full court press is on.
It's very impactful that we'll walk them down Georgia Street to see the Signia and the Convention Center expansion. Through renderings and now in person, we'll be able to show them traction yards. And at the end of Georgia Street, there'll be a new Ritz and a Live Nation venue and a Fever practice facility. That's a pretty compelling 3-block walk.
You're listening to Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Indiana University is shaping the future of healthcare with Hoosiers in mind. Advancing discoveries that become treatments for Alzheimer's, obesity, cancer, and rare diseases, and training the providers trusted to deliver them. From the lab to your local clinic, IU powers medical breakthroughs and the talent behind them. Discover how IU is solving what's next at iu.edu/impact.
We build Indiana. The Laborers International Union of North America builds and maintains roads, bridges, and other essential infrastructure that make us the crossroads of America. So thanks to LIUNA members' work, Hoosiers have a better quality of life, like access to utilities, easier routes to jobs, schools, or medical care, and deliveries keep moving. We build Indiana for good jobs and stronger communities. The Laborers International Union of North America. We are LIUNA.
Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community Schools.
In the extra chair you are looking at now on our YouTube channel, Wolf Boom Studio B, we will have guest tomorrow morning. Last name Dahl, y'all. She'll be talking about the Altrusa Club of Muncie. They have a fundraiser coming up soon, and you'll hear all about it at about this time-ish tomorrow morning. That's the Tuesday plan. And later this week, we are building in more guests and content if you ever want to reach out with questions and maybe information, please do so. 289-6397, 289-6397. Leave a voicemail message. Or you can email WMUN@woofboom.com, WMUN@woofboom.com. Next item this morning, U.S. service members have a military base change.
Securing America.
War Secretary Pete Hegseth recently signed a new measure reversing a long-standing policy. The change will now allow service members to carry personal weapons onto military installations. Hegseth said in a video troops shouldn't be prevented from exercising their personal Second Amendment rights.
Our warfighters defend the right of others to carry. They should be able to carry themselves.
Hegseth also cited recent shootings at bases across the country as proof that the change was needed.
In these instances, minutes are a lifetime, and our service members have the courage and training to make those precious short minutes count.
The secretary said that until now, it was virtually impossible to carry a personal weapon on base.
Unless you're training or unless you are a military policeman, you couldn't bring your own firearm for your own personal protection onto post. Well, that's no longer.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
WMUN, we deal with facts, not rumor, and I'll tell you a specific story about one of those. From over the weekend, there was a social media post of what appeared to be a riding lawnmower on top of one of the school buildings at Yorktown Community Schools. And immediately everyone started sharing what they thought was factual information. School prank by the kids, lands lawnmower on the roof, or words to that effect. Well, I reached out to the superintendent, Dr. Greg Hinshaw, who on Easter Sunday, by the way, when this is all going on, it wasn't that big of a deal, but it did take just a minute to get the facts. It was not a prank at all. It was part of the gear that the company that is working on the roof work at Yorktown schools that was part of their gear to move things around or whatever. So don't always believe what you see when you first see it, especially when it's on the social media, which can get really, really weird and freaky sometimes. Don't you agree? Hope your Easter Sunday was a good one. On Holy Saturday, Nancy and I, my beautiful wife, decided to charge out into the yard. I told you I was going to tell you the dandelion story. So we attacked our yard. We thought there was, maybe just a handful of dandelions. I don't like dandelions. When they attack our grass, Nancy and I, especially me, because I'm weird, I get grr. So we got out the little tools to properly dig them out of the ground, pop them out, and then, dispose of them the way that you should or whatever. Well, there were not just a few. There were a lot. So Nancy's out there helping me in one part of the yard. I'm in another part of the yard. I chose to replace our U.S. flag that flies proudly in our backyard. It had been damaged by squirrels. Don't get me started on that deal. I'm getting mad telling you the story. Anyway, back to the dandelions. Bending and scooping and on and on and on apparently doesn't work really well with what we call the Radio Buddy body. So by later that evening, I was toast. And the next day, Easter Sunday, I was toastier. What I'm saying is I hurt. I thought I had the flu. I thought I had the flu and I was going to be down for the count. It wasn't anything like that whatsoever. It was simply my body saying, yeah, no, don't do that. So now the temperature has gone down and we have not seen anything, replace those dandelion little weed heads. But I'm resting assured that when it warms up again, is that even grammatically correct, that we're probably going to have another attack of those weeds in the backyard. Is it a bumper crop this year? I don't know. No weeds in here. Studio B from Wolf Boom Radio. This is Delaware County Today. We're on daily from 8 to 9 a.m. and on demand on our website, WMUNmuncie.com. It's coming up on 8:51 right now. Higher gas prices are apparently not slowing big truck sales, and there's more new vehicles added to the highway safety's top picks.
It's Fox Wheels.
General Motors will run its heavy-duty Flint truck plant in Michigan 6 days a week, starting in June, citing strong demand for its most powerful pickups. The additional production day will allow the plant to churn out more heavy-duty Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra pickups, with over 1,000 reportedly rolling off the line each day, even as gas and diesel prices rise. 63 vehicle models, including 47 SUVs, have earned 2026 IIHS Safety Awards, with 45 qualifying for the top-tier Top Safety Pick Plus and 18 for the Top Safety Pick, a significant increase from the 48 total models honored last year. Top brands this year include Hyundai Motor Group, Mazda, Subaru, Toyota, BMW, and Audi. No minivans qualified for either Top Safety Award. That's Fox Wheels. I'm Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
WMUN News Talk, Sports Talk, Community Talk. Tony Katz today, noon to 3 every weekday. He will likely have coverage of President Trump's press conference that is scheduled for 1 o'clock this afternoon. They rarely start on time. There's a lot going on in the world, and we'll see what is covered there here on WMUN. Saw an article when I was doing show prep this morning. The Ball State Daily News had, looks like an op-ed from James Williams, the president of the Muncie Community Schools Board of Trustees. The information having to do from his pen with respect to SEA 1 having, quote, a severely negative effect on the budgets of most public school districts, including the Muncie Community Schools. And I encourage you to read that article if you haven't already, the Ball State Daily News. Great work by them. Final item for this morning. Fox's Janice Dean has this Indiana story from the 2019 archives.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
A retail worker in Indiana makes the Dean's List for returning thousands of dollars in cash. Since Jennifer Kimes began working at the Plato's Closet resale store 2 years ago, she says she has found plenty of things tucked into pockets of people's old clothing. But the $7,000 she found recently is certainly the most valuable thing she's ever discovered. After finding the wad of $20 and $100 bills, Jennifer informed her manager so they could both contact the man who had sold them the clothing. When he got the call, he told the store he had completely forgotten about the stash of cash and was overwhelmingly grateful for the return and the honesty.
He was extremely grateful, just extremely overwhelmingly grateful. They're trusting us, and we want to live up to that trust that they're giving us.
It's just about integrity. So when you work with things like this, you just have to make sure that you're honest and you do the right thing.
Doing the right thing makes the Dean's List. Janice Dean, Fox News.
All right, Janice, thank you for those kind words. Archived or not, we need a lot of kind words. Thank you for being on with us for the Monday program. Back again tomorrow for Aiden Foster, son of Al, in the Axia Command Center. I'm Steve Lindell. This is WMUN.